Welcome in, welcome back, welcome to my stream of unconsciousness where the words don't matter and the subject's made up. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about some Indiana Jones figures. And from 2008 to 2011, Hasbro reissued, or issued new, I should say, a number of Indiana Jones figures. And at the time I didn't actually collect a lot of those. I picked up a couple, one from Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and one that was sort of a little action playset where if you removed the idol from the center pillar, two big giant stone jaws would clash together. I didn't collect a lot more at the time because I wasn't that happy with the sculpts that were coming out, although I do regret that a little bit now. But at the time I actually, like I said, picked up one from the Crystal Skull. And the reason I did that was because I actually feel like that portrait of the older Harrison Ford was probably one of the best sculpts and paint jobs in the entire line. It does seem to capture his essence. And I had avoided the others because I didn't really care for the portrait on the younger Jones portrait. The character with the playset was one of the younger Jones sculpts, but it also had some weirdness, like it didn't include the extra accoutrement like the belt with the holster or the shoulder bag, and the legs were actually not did not have a lot of articulation. It was basically posed and only movable at the hips. But a few years back, I got into a sort of another Indiana Jones kick, and I thought I would then search the various online forums a la eBay. There we go. A little bit of light on this subject, yeah? To see, if anything was out there that was still available. So we're going to stand that back up there. And I didn't end up purchasing one of the original Raiders figures. Now, there's a couple of issues with this. First, single one of these I've ever seen has this side of the fedora crunched down on one side. I attempted to heal that with some heat to get it looking normal, I should say. As you can see, the portrait's not great, although there is some promise there that I noticed as I looked at these figures more and more. But the paint job, especially, the eyes are not great. And once I had this, I appreciate the effort that went into having a holster that can open and actually place the pistol on the inside, but it makes it huge and clunky. So I got the idea that what if I was going to have a Raiders Indy, what if I took the head from a Raiders Indy and took the body from the Crystal Skull Indy, which I preferred, and put them together. Unfortunately, I found out when doing that the neck pegs on these two figures are not even remotely compatible. The neck on the Crystal Skull Indy is so much larger than the one for the Raiders Indy. A little despondent about that, but I'd also been tooling around Etsy for a while, just doing random searches. Hand down like that. And usually on Etsy, when I go looking for something, I find something else that I consider to be even more exciting and more useful. And in this instance, I don't remember exactly what I was looking for, but I'd come across a shop called Fardone or Fardone 3D. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, but I'll include a link in the description. And he had what I consider to be one of the best 3D sculpted portraits that I had ever seen on that site. And he did have a printed example at 1/6 scale, which I thought just nailed the look dead on. And so he also claimed to be able to offer it at 1/18 scale, and I thought, well, might as well have some conversations with him about that scale. Now, one of the things that Hasbro did, which irritates me no end, is the fedoras are wrong on every single figure that they made. As you can see, The fedora is styled in what they refer to as a drop top, based on how the crown sort of looks like a teardrop. And that is not screen accurate for Indiana Jones fedora. So when I contacted Fardone about his sculpt, it didn't have a picture of the top of the sculpt. And I was curious if he had also, because at that point a lot of the reference images that were not actual screen stills were coming from the toys, which had the wrong fedoras. We had a brief exchange in comments, and he actually ended up resculpting the top, the crown of the fedora to put the screen accurate crease instead of the drop top. Sort of felt obligated to purchase one at that point, so I did purchase 1/6 scale. Not 1/18 scale portrait from him. This is it's a great print. It's all 3D print. The only issue I had, and it's not with his work at all. I think his work was great in creating this portrait. Is that if you have watched my video on the Star Trek figures that I made, you'll know that one of the things I hate the most in the world on action figures is paint rub. And I could have painted this wonderful, wonderful 3D print and then just run into the possible issue of paint rubbing off on the brim or on the crown. What I decided to do instead was I saved the 3D print, as you can see, and I actually made an RTV silicone mold from it. Excuse my boarding house reach. And then, after having made the mold, to save myself, to add an entire level of trouble, but save myself some paint applications, I actually then cast that figure, that head, in a couple of different colored plastics like this. This is one of the test castings that I did. So I cast up two, one in the brown plastic and one in flesh-colored plastic, and then cut them into bits and glue them back together. So once you have all of that, plus a tiny bit of paint application, which is more what I would prefer, you get this kind of look here. And this is, I think, the best look that I have got for any of my 1/18 scale Indiana Jones figures. I love this portrait. I would definitely recommend this portrait if you're looking to create one of these. This is my favorite figure in my Indiana Jones collection as far as 1/18 scale. There are obviously issues still with some of the original work that was done by Hasbro. The hands are not great, although they hold the accessories. You can, on some of these, remove the hands and replace them with other hands, but this again was based on the crystal skull body, as you can see. And I just think it has the best look with the belt and the holster. So there you have it. Indiana Jones at 1/18 scale. And I think probably the best looking 3D sculpt that I've seen in this scale. So if you want, again, I will include Fardone's Etsy shop link in the bottom, in the description. So please feel free to visit him. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.